Hello and welcome to another video, and I decided because I did one for Sony, I did one for Microsoft, we're kind of at the end of all the not E3, but it's really E3 coverage of the year. Nintendo just had a Direct today. I haven't really commented or talked about Nintendo in a while, outside of Zelda, which if you want to see my first impressions of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, please go watch that video. Otherwise, let's talk today about the Nintendo Direct that was just released this morning, and I'll give it a letter grade like I did for the other videos. And I just kind of want to talk about the future, of Nintendo a little bit as well, because yeah, overall this Nintendo Direct was fine. There was some good stuff, but a lot of Nintendo fans I felt came off of it kind of meh, because at the end of the day, there wasn't like a big, huge, like mind-blowing announcement. There's one, and Nintendo fans are going to be really excited about it. I'm personally ecstatic about it, but I think people were looking for that Metroid Prime 4 or some huge thing like that. You didn't get that here. Let's go through what was announced, the important things, and just kind of discuss here and go through. So for me, there were two like really big announcements at this conference or this Nintendo Direct that I'm personally excited about, and they both have to do with Mario. So first thing we're going to talk about, and these are not in order of appearance or anything like that, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is a brand new 2D Super Mario Brothers game. I'm always going to be down for a new 2D Super Mario game. Even over, like, for me personally, like, yes, I would like to see an Odyssey 2, but I will always take a 2D Mario. This looks fucking incredible. I cannot wait for it. It's out soon, October 20th. I will play this. Like, I'm excited. Like, this made me excited as a Switch owner who's maybe kind of lapsed on the system and, come back into it with Zelda. I'm excited to play this because this is what I want to see out of Nintendo. Perhaps the biggest announcement at this Direct, the mind-blowing, like I was talking to Dan from Podcast 572 last night. We were playing some Diablo and we were kind of discussing like, what could they even discuss or announce at this conference, this Direct, that we don't know about? Neither of us ever even pegged this one. Super Mario RPG is getting a full-blown remake. It's out November 17th. Arguably one of the best games of the Super Nintendo era. This was a game that was a collaboration between Squaresoft at the time and Nintendo. It's getting a full remake. This is going to be a full-price game, but this is a full remake of the game. This isn't just like an up-res textures or anything like that. Like, they straight up remade this game, and it looks incredible. As a huge fan of Super Mario RPG, I never thought this was ever going to happen. I've always wanted like maybe Super Mario RPG 2. I know a lot of people would argue that's Paper Mario, but I would like an actual sequel to Super Mario RPG, but I will take a full-blown remake. Easily the best announcement from this Nintendo Direct. They also announced that there's a Detective Pikachu 2 coming in October. I'll be straight up here. I never played the original Detective Pikachu. I'm in the camp of I don't think I even cared for the movie, but it really wasn't a movie for me because I'm not a huge Pokemon fan to begin with. So that, I know there are fans out there that will be excited about this. It didn't do anything for me. Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. I guess we're calling this Collection Volume 1. Is now confirmed for Nintendo Switch. It's also coming to Xbox, PlayStation. I would assume it would be on PC, although I didn't see anything in the press release for that. This is coming out October 24th. So this thing includes Metal Gear Solid 1, which is the PlayStation version of the game, and then Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3, which were a part of that 2011 HD remaster that also had Peace Walker. And then you'll also get those original Nintendo games. So Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 Snake's Revenge, all going to be a part of this. It's a cool collection. I'm very curious why they're calling it Volume 1. Like, some people are out there saying like maybe they are actually going to attempt to remake Metal Gear Solid 4. That would be awesome. We did learn recently that Metal Gear Solid 4 was running on an Xbox 360 at one point, before that game became a PlayStation exclusive. So there's some hope there that that might actually happen in a Volume 2, but again, it's Konami. I don't know if I would put a lot of faith in them putting that much work into it. So, but regardless, the thing I'm most excited about with this collection is that Metal Gear Solid 1, albeit it's the PlayStation version, will be on an Xbox system for the first time ever. And that's where I'll get this collection, because I just think that's really cool. There's a new WarioWare game coming to the Switch, WarioWare Move It. That's going to be out November 6th. They did a deep dive on Pikmin 4, which is out July 21st. I've never played a Pikmin game. I'm just going to straight up say it. It's not that I have no interest in the series. It's just, it's one that I never got attached to, never was like, oh, I need to play Pikmin. I've never played one. I don't know if this would be the one to get me into trying Pikmin. I'll say it for a Switch game, it looks gorgeous graphically, but I don't know if I'm going to play this or not. They did also announce Pikmin 1 and 2 are available digitally today. There's a 2-pack coming out in September 22nd. So if you want a physical release of it, it'll be available then. Then we got into the territory of just updates for other games. They talked about an update for the expansion for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They announced the maps for the 5th wave of Mario Kart 8 DLC, which now that all that DLC's out, which I bought the expansion pass when that first started, I need to go back and download all of it and try these different courses out. The new one that was announced today, which was you're in a bathroom, that looks really cool. So Mario Kart 8 continues to be the best Mario Kart ever, and I'm happy that they're just adding to it rather than trying to make a new one. And I think at this point you don't see a Mario Kart 9 until whatever the next Nintendo is. Another one that was kind of interesting, they have remade Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was the Luigi's Mansion sequel that came out in the 3DS back in 2013 2014, I want to say. That's pretty cool. I own it, but I never really touched it. I actually need to go back and finish Luigi's Mansion 3, so maybe I'll look at that at some point. But again, this was another cool announcement. They also started to announce a new game starring Princess Peach, but they didn't show more of it. They just kind of were it's coming out next year, so 2024. This is really cool. So Switch owners that have not played Vampire Survivors, which was my game of the year last year, it is coming to Switch August 17th, but the bigger news here is that the game's finally getting co-op, 4-player local co-op, so I'm really excited about that as well. It's something I felt the game has needed for a while, and I kind of figured at some point they'd probably put it into the game, so amazing announcement. It's a free update for those that already own it on other platforms, but Vampire Survivors will be on the Switch, so no longer is going to be tied to people that just have a Steam Deck for playing this game on the go, unless you're trying to play it on a cell phone, which it's not the best version of the game. Switch will be a fantastic place to play Vampire Survivors. They announced a new Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince. I'll be honest, it's out in December 1st. I don't really know much about it, but I always like seeing more Dragon Quest stuff get announced. And then they showed a little more of Sonic Superstars, which it continues to look great. That's on everything, so that's not a Switch exclusive. One thing that they announced that I think is going to be interesting, I think part of it will work and I think part of it's going to be rough, is Batman Arkham Trilogy. So all of the Arkham games, so this is Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, are coming to the Switch in one complete package this fall. Arkham Asylum is a game from 2009, so I feel like that game probably will run okay on the Switch. Same with Arkham City. I feel like Arkham Knight's going to have some struggle here. I could be wrong, but I feel like it might struggle here. The last big thing that was shown here, and then the rest was kind of just very minor DLC announcements that I'm not going to go over. But the last big thing here was Star Ocean: The Second Story R is coming out in November 3rd specifically. Now, also, this is not just a Switch port. It is coming to PS4 and PS5. It has kind of a new art style. It looks fantastic. And for someone who has not touched that game since it came out on the PS1, like, what, 25 years ago at this point, I would love to revisit it. So I'm glad that this is coming out and relatively soon. So if you're a JRPG fan, like, there are games coming out for you this year. And that kind of wraps up Nintendo. The thing that's interesting to me is, like, this kind of feels like that last hurrah for the system. Like, as Nintendo as a brand, they don't want to commit to anything really, really big. Like, I mean, for me and a lot of people, Super Mario RPG Remake is a big thing, but at the end of the day, it's still just a remake. It's not a new game. Super Mario Wonder as well is a really cool idea, and I love 2D Mario, but again, that seems like a smaller game in comparison to if they were to announce Mario Odyssey 2, which is clear to me they're saving that for the next generation Nintendo, whatever that is. Nothing about Metroid here. Some people before the thing were saying maybe Star Fox. They continue to treat Star Fox like it's dead. My buddy Dan from Podcast 572 was hoping that they were going to discuss or talk about. Overall, if I were to give this a letter grade, I would probably just leave it at a solid B. I think the strong announcements, like, you're getting the best Mario, like, RPG, one of the best RPGs of that era. Like, the only thing they could do to top it for me from that era would be to remake Chrono Trigger, which I don't think that's ever going to happen at this point. But to put this out, remake this full blown, is phenomenal. And it also gives a completely new generation of Nintendo fans, kids that have grown up playing Nintendo, a chance to play a incredible RPG that in a lot of ways, a lot of people that were my age and a little younger at the time this game came out, this is one of the first RPGs a lot of people my age played. For me, the first, like, true RPG I really got into was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which some people will scoff at, other people will be like, that's fine. But Mario RPG is definitely something I played in there as well. I wouldn't say it was what introduced me to the genre, but it kept me going into that genre. So it's a very important game to remake. Super Mario Wonder, I think, also pushes this into the B territory because that's a new 2D Mario and it looks fantastic. Other announcements here, you know, we're semi-strong to starting to get a little weaker. There's obviously some reliance on third-party games that are going to be on other systems. And as I always say, when it comes to these Switch conferences, if it's a third-party game, I'm constantly looking to see where else I can play it because I know it'll play better somewhere else. So with all of that being said, and giving it a B, what is Nintendo going to do next? Like, that's kind of the big question I think a lot of people have now is, do they move on? Like, is this the last one? Do we get an announcement this fall? You know, hey, we're working on the next Nintendo. Here it is. I think when we do get to that point, I honestly do not believe that the next Nintendo is like March territory. I think we don't see a new Nintendo system until fall 2024. And I think when Nintendo is ready to show it, they're going to do the same thing they did with the Switch. They're going to give you a trailer. It's going to be like a 6-month, very, very short window for when the system comes out. Kind of like back in October of 2016, they announced the Switch. It was out the following March. Because I think Nintendo, they've earned the right to be able to do that now. Like, you don't need to know about the next Nintendo for a full year to get people hyped and excited about it. And as we've seen Nintendo this entire generation, other than with the exception of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which even they admitted they announced too early, they like to keep everything as close to the chest as possible until they're like, seriously, the game is basically ready to go gold, and then they announce it, you get a couple months and the game's out. So I think the same thing's going to be said for the system. What will that new system be? I have no idea. What I will tell you is that the Switch is such a success for Nintendo. I don't see them abandoning, like, doing any kind of thing to abandon the cartridges. I think Switch games need to play on whatever this new Nintendo is. I think it will be very similar to the Switch Could you see it come out as a Switch Pro or the new Nintendo Switch, or what I'd like it to be called, Super Switch? Possibly, but I think I would look at this thing more as you're gonna see this thing come out as like the new Nintendo 3DS. I don't think you're gonna get a full new Nintendo system, because I don't think Nintendo is ready to abandon this entire platform that they've built. And also, the days of having a separate handheld Nintendo system and, dedicated console, those are dead. They killed that with the Switch. And there's no reason to go back for Nintendo. So that's what I think about the Nintendo conference and kind of my predictions for maybe the future. I'd love to know in the comments below what you thought about the Nintendo Direct. Remember, as always, to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time.